Nathan Callis ran through the glowing corridors of the alien medbay, heart hammering in his chest. Red warning lights flashed over smooth metal walls, casting long, jittering shadows. A shrill alarm pierced the air. Somewhere ahead, a small, desperate sound cut through the noise, a weak, almost human-like cry. He skidded around a corner and froze. In a transparent incubator, a tiny creature struggled to breathe. Its skin shimmered faintly in blues and purples, and delicate wings curled awkwardly around its body. Alien medics hovered above it, their multi-limbed forms twitching with agitation. They exchanged rapid, clipped signals, voices harsh and alien, full of panic and frustration. "Stop!" Nathan barked, his voice startling even himself. He darted forward, ignoring the protests of the hovering figures. One of the medics flicked its limbs toward him, a warning gesture, but he ignored it. His hands moved quickly, checking the hatchling's vitals with human instincts rather than alien protocols. Its tiny chest heaved weakly, and Nathan could feel the faint pulse under his fingers. "They're going to let it die," he muttered under his breath, eyes narrowing. Every alien hand he could see recoiled from touching it. Every device meant to help seemed to worsen the creature's struggle. The hatchling's glow flared suddenly, bright and strange, as if reacting to Nathan's presence. Its cry grew louder, almost pleading. Nathan felt a sharp tug in his chest. He couldn't stand by. "I can save it," he said, stepping closer, ignoring the warning gestures. The aliens froze for a moment, their eyes wide with what he guessed was disbelief, or fear. One of them hissed, a sound like grinding stone, and stepped forward as if to stop him. Nathan didn't flinch. His hands moved quickly, detaching a monitor and scanning the readings. Standard alien protocols would have suffocated the hatchling faster. He needed a different approach, and he had no time to explain. With a deep breath, he lifted the hatchling gently, feeling its fragile body shiver against him. The creature's wings flared slightly, glowing brighter, and Nathan swore he heard the tiniest sigh of relief. He darted down the corridor, alarms blaring behind him, lights flickering in irregular pulses. Every step brought another sharp twist of danger. Alien medics now moving to intercept him, security locks beginning to hum, doors sliding shut in automated patterns. He ducked into a small maintenance chamber, doors sliding shut just as one alien lunged at him. The hatchling nestled in his arms, its faint glow casting soft light over his face. He whispered to it, softly, telling it not to fear. "You're not alone," he said. "I'll protect you." Even to himself, it sounded like a promise he had no right to make, but he meant it. For a brief moment, the lights steadied and Nathan's mind raced. He needed to stabilize the creature's breathing, but the equipment in the chamber was human, not alien. Improvised solutions ran through his mind, simple, quick, effective. He fashioned a tiny mask over the hatchling's mouth, adjusting airflow, and waited. A small cough, then a tiny flutter of wings, and the hatchling's color deepened from pale blue to a faint, healthy purple. Nathan allowed himself a short, victorious breath. A small win, but the danger was far from over. Through the chamber's glass, he could see the alien medics regrouping, their movements deliberate and hostile. One of them barked a command that Nathan didn't understand, but the tone was clear. The hatchling belonged to them, and he had no right to interfere. Nathan's pulse quickened. They had numbers. They had authority. And yet, somehow he still held the fragile life in his hands. Then something unexpected happened. The hatchling shivered violently and let out a bright pulse of light from its tiny body. The glass panel behind Nathan flickered and sparked, alarms wailing louder. The aliens jumped back, clearly startled. Nathan himself stumbled, shielding the creature. The hatchling's glow faded to a soft luminescence, as if it had used all its strength in a single desperate defense. Nathan's mind raced. What had just happened? Was the creature trying to protect itself, or him? He didn't know, but he felt something unspoken. A bond had formed. The hatchling responded to him alone. No alien medic had come near without it recoiling. The door began to hum again, locking mechanisms engaging. Nathan glanced up. Outside, the medbay corridor stretched, filled with blinking lights and alien figures converging. He had one choice: move forward or be trapped with the creature, and perhaps fail both of them. He squared his shoulders, lifted the hatchling close, and whispered, "Let's go. We're not giving up." And with that, he forced the small door open, stepping into uncertainty. Something watched from the shadows, something large, unseen, with a quiet, deliberate presence. Nathan didn't know what it was yet, but he felt it. A sense of danger, immense and patient, waiting just beyond the corner. The hatchling wriggled against him, glowing softly as if sensing the threat. Nathan's jaw tightened. Every step forward would matter. Every choice could mean life or death for both of them. And then, from somewhere deeper in the med bay, a low, resonant sound rolled across the floor. Not the medics, not alarms. Something alive. Something enormous. Something that could change everything. Nathan froze. The hatchling stiffened in his arms. The med bay seemed to hold its breath. And in that moment he realized they were not alone. Nathan barely had time to steady his breath before the corridor ahead erupted in motion. Alien medics surged forward, their limbs moving in sharp, unnatural angles. Their voices collided with the wailing alarms, creating a chaotic symphony of sound. He clutched the hatchling tighter, feeling its delicate heartbeat flutter against his chest. Every instinct screamed that stopping was not an option. He had to move. He darted into the nearest side chamber, a small storage room filled with alien equipment and blinking panels. Most of it was useless to him, but Nathan's human intuition sparked an idea. He grabbed a portable oxygen unit and a few other small devices, improvising a makeshift respirator for the hatchling. Its wings twitched nervously, glowing faintly with every shallow breath. Nathan whispered encouragement, his voice firm and calm. "Hold on, little one. Just a little longer. We'll get through this." Outside the door, the medics paused, assessing. Their sharp movements slowed as if calculating the risk. Nathan knew the aliens were skilled, far more so in their biology than he could ever be, but they lacked the subtlety of human empathy. Where they saw numbers and procedures, Nathan saw life. He counted on that difference. Suddenly, a sharp hiss echoed from the corridor. One of the medics had activated a security drone. It hovered into the doorway, a metallic eye scanning for movement. Nathan froze. The hatchling wriggled and pulsed with faint light, almost as if sensing the danger. Nathan's mind raced. He couldn't fight the drone directly, it was faster, stronger, and built for precision. Instead he acted. He pressed a panel on a nearby console, sending a surge of energy that caused the lights to flicker. The drone wavered, confused, and the medics recoiled. In that brief moment, Nathan bolted down a narrow side passage, heart pounding in his ears. The hatchling's wings fluttered weakly but stayed close, and Nathan whispered a reminder to stay calm. Each step mattered. Every second counted. As they ran, Nathan observed the hatchling more closely. Its bioluminescent glow seemed tied to its emotions. When frightened, it brightened. When relaxed, it dimmed. That insight gave him an idea. He slowed his pace slightly, speaking softly, deliberately projecting calm. The hatchling's glow softened, its movements less erratic. Nathan realized he could guide it, not just carry it. The corridor opened into a vast chamber, the medbay's central hub. Rows of incubators and alien machinery stretched into the distance. For a moment, Nathan felt the weight of the space pressing down. The alien technology was overwhelming, sterile, and unyielding. The medics' voices grew louder, their signals sharper. They were closing in. He had to act fast. Scanning the room, Nathan spotted a transport cart with a small, enclosed capsule. It looked human enough to handle the hatchling safely, even if the aliens hadn't intended it for this purpose. He dragged the capsule over, improvising quickly. With trembling hands he secured the hatchling inside. A faint pulse of light ran along its body, almost like it was aware of the safety. Just as he finished, an alien medic lunged toward him, limbs extended with alarming speed. Nathan sidestepped, feeling the brush of its appendage against his shoulder, and kicked a nearby panel. Sparks flew. The medic recoiled, giving Nathan the split second he needed to slam the capsule's hatch shut. The hatchling chirped, a tiny sound of relief, and Nathan allowed himself the briefest smile. It was a small victory, but the battle was far from over. Alarms continued to scream. Nathan's mind raced, calculating the next move. The main exit was blocked. Security doors were closing automatically, isolating sections of the medbay. He realized he couldn't rely on speed alone. He needed strategy, creativity, and the hatchling's strange abilities. He noticed faint energy patterns along the walls, lines of alien circuitry that hummed with power. Perhaps they could be used if he timed it right. He guided the capsule along the circuitry, hoping to trigger a system override. The hatchling pulsed with light again, brighter this time, and the nearby security locks flickered. The medics hesitated, their confidence shaken by the unexpected interference. Nathan felt a surge of hope. The creature was responding, not just surviving but acting in sync with him. It was more intelligent than he realized and perhaps more powerful. But just as he began to see a path forward, the hatchling twitched violently, its glow flaring to a blinding intensity. Sparks leapt from the panels and the entire hub shook. Nathan staggered, shielding his eyes. The medics shrieked and backed away, clearly alarmed. Something had changed. This wasn't just a fragile creature anymore. It had the potential to alter the environment itself. Nathan took a steadying breath, realizing the truth. The hatchling's life was tied to forces he didn't fully understand. Every move from now on would carry consequences, not just for them but for the entire medbay. He tightened his grip, whispering firmly, "We can do this. Together." A sudden shadow passed over the chamber. Nathan looked up. High above, in the catwalks he hadn't noticed before, another figure moved, larger, deliberate, and predatory. His stomach twisted. It wasn't a medic. It wasn't a drone. Whatever it was alive, enormous, and watching them carefully. The hatchling stirred in the capsule, wings quivering in sync with Nathan's quickened heartbeat. Its glow intensified, illuminating the shadowy form above. Nathan's mind raced. He had protected it this far, but now a new threat had arrived. Something that could destroy them both in an instant. He swallowed hard, glancing back at the approaching medics, then up at the looming figure. Choices had to be made. Every second mattered. Every step could mean life or death. Nathan lifted the capsule carefully, stepping toward a side passage that might lead them out. His eyes narrowed. They had survived this far, but the biggest danger was still ahead. And he knew, in the pit of his stomach, that escaping the med bay was only the beginning. A low, resonant growl echoed from above. The hatchling pulsed violently again, wings stretching against the enclosure. Nathan froze, realizing with a jolt, the shadow wasn't just watching. It was moving closer. And in that moment he understood. Whatever waited above was aware of him, aware of the hatchling, and it was patient. Far too patient. Nathan's heart hammered as he pressed the hatchling closer to his chest, ducking into the narrow side passage. The low growl from above echoed through the corridors, vibrating the metal walls. Every instinct screamed danger. This was no ordinary predator. But the hatchling's pulsing light, weak but persistent, seemed to push him forward, almost guiding him. The medics were still behind him, their harsh voices shouting commands he didn't understand. Their steps were precise, synchronized, relentless. Nathan knew they were intelligent, methodical, but they lacked the instinct for improvisation. Humans thrived on thinking fast, adapting. That was his advantage, if he could just buy enough time. He rounded a corner and ducked into a dimly lit maintenance shaft, sliding the capsule carefully behind a stack of alien crates. He pressed his back against the wall, chest heaving. The hatchling stirred in the capsule, tiny wings flicking. Its glow pulsed faster, almost in rhythm with his heartbeat. Nathan whispered, "Stay calm. I'm not leaving you." The faint sound of its response, a soft, vibrating hum, made him tighten his grip on hope. A sudden spark from an overhead conduit sent a brief flash of light across the corridor. Nathan froze. A shadow moved in the flash, larger than any human or alien he had seen before. Paused, watching him. The growl returned, lower and more deliberate this time. He realized the shadow belonged to a creature far larger than the medics. A dragon or something like it. His stomach twisted. The hatchling's parent? Nathan's mind raced. He had to understand before reacting. He scanned the walls, noticing a pattern in the faint, glowing energy lines embedded in the metal. They were connected to the medbay systems. Lights, doors, even the security locks. He could use them. Perhaps the hatchling's pulsing could interact with these lines. Could it be intelligent in a way the aliens didn't understand? He set the capsule down carefully, adjusting the small controls he had improvised earlier. The hatchling's glow intensified as if sensing his intention. Nathan reached out, speaking softly, coaxing the tiny creature. "Can you help me? We need to move fast." For the first time he felt a response beyond instinct. The energy lines along the walls shimmered faintly, as if responding to the hatchling's pulsing light. Nathan's pulse quickened. He had an idea. He tapped the lines with a small tool, trying to amplify the hatchling's influence. The nearest security door hissed, flickering open just enough for him to slip through. His heart leapt. It worked. The hatchling's presence could manipulate the alien technology, but only subtly, only in bursts. As he slipped through the door, a sharp movement caught his eye. One of the medics had found him. Its multi-limbed body lunged, fast, precise. Nathan ducked behind a console, the hatchling inside the capsule nearly tipping. Sparks flew from the contact with the console, illuminating his tense face. He reacted instinctively, flipping the hatchling's capsule slightly to shield it from the sparks. The creature's glow responded, brighter and more focused, almost protective. Nathan realized something critical. the hatchling wasn't just fragile. It had power, controlled by emotion, by trust. It trusted him, and that bond gave them a unique edge. The alien medics had expertise but no connection. The creature ignored them. Nathan could exploit that. He bolted down the corridor again, now using his understanding of the medbay's energy patterns to manipulate doors and panels as obstacles. Each time the medics advanced, a spark or short circuit delayed them, and Nathan slipped forward, carrying the hatchling as carefully as possible. A small victory each time, but tension mounted with every step. Then a new sound cut through the chaos, a low resonant thrum vibrating the floor beneath him. The shadow he had glimpsed earlier moved closer, silent but massive. Nathan froze, realizing the hatchling's glow was responding, pulsing stronger, almost like a heartbeat. He glanced at the creature and understood. It was calling, signaling, or defending. Whatever it was aware and it was powerful. Nathan ducked behind a corner, listening. The medics hesitated, unsure, their synchronized steps faltering. The larger creature, however, didn't hesitate. Its movement was deliberate, careful, measured. Nathan felt the air shift around him, a low pressure that made the hair on his arms stand. He understood something dangerous. The hatchling's parent was testing him, assessing if he could protect its young. Sweat dripped down Nathan's forehead, but he forced himself to breathe steadily. He had survived this far because he adapted, because he used intelligence and courage instead of brute strength. Now he needed a bold choice. He could run blindly and risk being trapped between the medics and the dragon, or he could use the hatchling, its strange abilities and his quick thinking to turn the odds in his favor. He spoke softly to the hatchling, "We need to do this together. Can you trust me?" The tiny wings quivered, glow pulsing brighter, and Nathan felt a surge of hope. A spark of understanding passed between them, a bond stronger than fear. Using the hatchling's light, he manipulated a series of control panels along the walls. Alarms screamed, doors hissed, and the medics stumbled. Nathan bolted through a side corridor, heart racing. The low thrum followed, growing louder, deeper. The shadow above was closer now, and he caught a glimpse. A massive head, glowing eyes, scales shimmering with faint bioluminescence. It wasn't attacking yet. It was watching. Nathan realized, with a jolt, that the next few minutes would define everything. The medics were closing in, the dragon's presence was near, and the hatchling's fragile life depended entirely on him. One wrong step could destroy them all. And then the hatchling's glow surged violently, almost blinding him. Sparks flew along the walls as energy lines shivered. The dragon above hissed, a warning or challenge, and Nathan stumbled backward, shielding both himself and the hatchling. He blinked through the light. The medics froze. The dragon paused. And in that moment, Nathan understood something terrifying and thrilling. The hatchling wasn't just a baby. It was the key to something far larger, far more dangerous, and far more incredible than he could have imagined. The corridor shook from a distant rumble, metal groaning under unseen weight. Nathan's heart leapt. The choice was clear. He had to protect the hatchling and uncover the secret it held. But as he took a step forward, a shadow detached itself from the darkness above, moving faster than any human or alien he had ever seen. The growl deepened. And Nathan knew with a cold certainty that the real test was about to begin. Nathan's pulse raced as the shadow detached itself fully from the darkness above. The corridor felt impossibly narrow, metal walls closing in, while the low growl reverberated through the floor. His grip tightened on the hatchling's capsule, the creature quivering against his chest, wings pulsing faintly like a heartbeat in sync with his own. The alien medics were behind him now, relentless, their multi-limbed forms advancing in unison. One raised a device that sparked with energy, aiming to immobilize him. Nathan calculated quickly, he couldn't outrun them all and he couldn't fight them directly. But he had the hatchling and it had abilities they didn't understand. He whispered to it, "I need you now. Trust me." The glow intensified in response, illuminating the corridor with soft, vibrant light. Suddenly the massive shadow above lunged. Nathan barely had time to react. The creature's enormous wings created a blast of air that rattled the walls, and sparks flew from the metal floor. It landed in front of him, scales glimmering with faint bioluminescence. Its eyes were intelligent, sharp, calculating, and fixed entirely on the hatchling. Nathan froze, realizing with a jolt that he was facing not just a predator, but the hatchling's parent. Its growl deepened, resonating like a warning, and the air seemed charged with tension. Nathan's mind raced. He needed a plan, but there was no time for hesitation. Every instinct told him to protect the hatchling, but the parent dragon's presence was overwhelming. He took a deep breath, forcing calm. Humans survived impossible odds through courage and quick thinking. That was his edge. He set the capsule carefully on the floor, slightly open so the hatchling could see him, then stepped back. "Stay calm," he said aloud, not knowing if the dragon could understand him, but hoping the hatchling's bond would communicate. "I'm not your enemy." The parent dragon crouched, wings half extended, and emitted a low rumble. Nathan noticed the hatchling's glow pulsing in response. It wasn't just fear, the creature was communicating. Nathan realized this was his opportunity. He could not fight the dragon physically, but he could appeal to the connection between parent and young. He stepped slowly forward, hands visible, voice steady. "I won't hurt it. I promise." The hatchling's glow flared again, bright and steady, and for a moment, Nathan saw the tiniest signs of recognition in the parent's eyes. It was testing him, gauging his intentions. Behind him, the medics advanced again, stepping over debris and sparks. Nathan pivoted quickly, tapping into the alien technology around him. He triggered a panel that sent a pulse along the floor, knocking the medics off balance. Sparks flew, alarms screamed, but the parent dragon didn't attack. Its eyes followed every movement, calculating, waiting. Nathan took a chance. He moved closer to the hatchling, crouching slightly, keeping his voice soft. "It trusts me," he said. "And so should you." The hatchling responded, wings flaring slightly, glow brightening in a rhythmic pulse. The dragon's body shifted, coiling with tension, then relaxed slightly. A small, almost imperceptible nod, an acknowledgement. It was enough. Nathan understood he had earned a fragile trust, but it wouldn't last if the medics interfered. He needed to act fast. Using the hatchling's light, he manipulated the panels along the corridor, triggering a sequence of sparks and short circuits. The medics froze again, reluctant to advance. Nathan took a deep breath, grabbed the hatchling and moved forward, this time deliberately, confidently. The corridor opened into a larger chamber, central to the medbay. Alien machinery hummed around them, lights flickering erratically. The parent dragon stepped aside, still massive and imposing, but allowing Nathan a path. He realized the creature was intelligent, capable of recognizing ally from threat. Humans could adapt, and here he had proved it. Nathan carried the hatchling to a small platform in the center of the chamber, where he had improvised a temporary life support unit. His hands moved quickly, adjusting airflow, monitoring vitals. The hatchling's wings quivered, then settled. Its glow softened, showing signs of recovery. Nathan allowed himself a short, victorious breath. A small win, but the threat was not gone. From the shadows above, the parent dragon's eyes followed him. Nathan met them calmly. He understood that this was not just about survival, it was about proving human intelligence, empathy, and courage. He had to show the dragon that he could protect its young when the aliens could not. And in that moment he realized something incredible. The creature trusted humans in a way the aliens never could. Suddenly, the hatchling pulsed violently, bright enough to illuminate the entire chamber. Sparks flew from nearby machinery, alarms blared, and the medics fell back, shielding themselves. Nathan instinctively shielded the hatchling, heart pounding. Then, the glow coalesced into a concentrated pulse that interacted with the alien technology. Doors unlocked, lights stabilized, and for a moment, the medbay itself seemed to acknowledge their presence. Nathan's eyes widened. The hatchling's abilities weren't just biological. They were intelligent, interacting with the environment, defending themselves, protecting him. He smiled briefly at the realization, a small reward for courage and quick thinking. But the moment was fleeting. The parent dragon stepped fully into the chamber, wings outstretched, tail sweeping the floor. Its growl deepened, more insistent, demanding respect. Nathan's stomach tightened, but he didn't flinch. He had come this far because he acted decisively, relied on intelligence, and formed a bond with the hatchling. He could face this next challenge too. He spoke softly, deliberately, each word measured. "We only want to protect it. Nothing more." The hatchling responded with a pulse, and the dragon's posture softened slightly. Nathan realized he had earned a temporary trust, enough to survive, enough to act. And then, from the far corner of the chamber, a new signal pulsed faintly, almost imperceptible. Nathan froze. He hadn't noticed it before, a pattern in the alien energy lines, glowing briefly, distinct from the hatchling's light. His stomach sank. Whatever it was distant, silent, and potentially dangerous. The parent dragon shifted, sensing it too. Nathan's mind raced. They had survived the immediate threat, but something larger awaited them, something the hatchling had yet to reveal. He adjusted his grip on the capsule, whispered to the hatchling and took a slow step forward, heart hammering. One thing was clear, this was only the beginning. The medics had been outsmarted, the dragon temporarily placated, but beyond this chamber an unknown danger awaited. And Nathan knew with unwavering certainty that protecting this hatchling would demand everything he had, and then some. Nathan stepped carefully through the chamber, the hatchling cradled gently in his arms. Its soft glow lit the surrounding machinery in pulses, casting long, wavering shadows across the walls. The parent dragon remained still, massive wings folded, eyes fixed on the small creature, as if silently judging every step Nathan took. Every muscle in Nathan's body was tense, but he forced himself to breathe evenly. One false move could shatter the fragile trust he'd earned. The medics were still behind him, regrouping, hesitant now. Their mechanical confidence had faltered in the wake of the hatchling's unexpected power. Nathan knew they weren't giving up, they were still a threat, but he had leverage they didn't understand. The hatchling was alive, alert, and intelligent beyond expectation. It responded to him alone, and that bond gave them a unique advantage. He navigated the alien corridors, using the hatchling's light to guide him. Sparks from damaged panels shimmered across the floor, evidence of the chaos he'd caused, and yet every step felt deliberate. The hatchling pulsed softly against his chest, wings fluttering faintly as if sensing the path forward. Nathan whispered, "Almost there. Just a little further." The creature responded with a rhythmic glow as though acknowledging his words. Ahead, the corridor opened into a larger space, a hybrid chamber where human and alien technologies coexisted. It had been designed for experimental life support, a place Nathan realized he could adapt for the hatchling. Shelves of equipment, control panels, and oxygen regulators lined the walls. For the first time he felt a flicker of hope that they could survive this ordeal. Carefully, Nathan placed the hatchling on a raised platform, adjusting the equipment around it. The creature's wings twitched as he set a small respirator in place. He monitored the vital signs, watching as the faint pulses of light stabilized, then grew steady. The hatchling's chest rose and fell with more strength, its glow softening into a calm, healthy hue. Nathan allowed himself a quiet sigh of relief. A small victory but an essential one. From the shadows the parent dragon shifted. Nathan met its gaze calmly, holding the hatchling protectively but without fear. For a tense moment nothing moved. Then the dragon lowered its massive head, eyes blinking slowly. It was an acknowledgement, an understanding that Nathan had acted with care, courage, and intelligence. The hatchling was safe because he had chosen empathy and determination over hesitation. Nathan straightened, heart still racing but pride mixed with relief. He realized the full significance of what he'd done. Humans could shine in ways others could not, through compassion, ingenuity, and courage under pressure. He had saved a life that others had abandoned, and in doing so, he had earned the respect of beings far older and more powerful than himself. He turned back to the equipment, making final adjustments. The hatchling responded immediately, wings fluttering gently, glow steady. Nathan whispered softly, "You're safe now." The tiny creature chirped faintly, a sound that seemed almost like a sigh of gratitude. A reward for the choices he had made and proof that his courage had mattered. The medics watched from a distance, still tense, still wary. Nathan met their eyes briefly and offered no explanation. None was needed. They had underestimated human resolve, and now they understood, in the smallest measure, the strength that empathy and intelligence could wield. They stepped back, conceding the moment. Nathan glanced at the parent dragon one last time. It lingered, still protective but not hostile. Its gaze held a quiet acknowledgement of trust. The bond between human and hatchling had shifted something fundamental. Nathan realized the creatures understood more than he had first assumed. Their intelligence, their instincts, and their capacity to judge character had all combined to test him. And he had passed. He turned his attention back to the hatchling, checking its vitals one final time. Stable. Stronger. Alive. A full sense of relief and accomplishment washed over him, tempered by the knowledge that this was only the beginning. This creature's existence was tied to forces and mysteries he had yet to uncover. As he packed a few essential supplies for continued care, Nathan noticed a faint glow emanating from one of the far panels he hadn't touched before. It pulsed with a slow, rhythmic beat, distinct from the hatchling's light. Curious, he approached. The panel flickered with symbols he did not recognize, a signal of unknown origin. The glow faded as he neared, leaving a whisper of electricity in the air. His pulse quickened. Something else was out there, another life, another mystery. The hatchling stirred, sensing his attention. Its glow pulsed faintly, alert as if acknowledging the unknown. Nathan understood immediately that his duty had only begun. He could protect this hatchling, but beyond the med bay the universe held more creatures, more dangers, more puzzles that only human courage and intelligence could confront. He lifted the hatchling carefully, cradling it close. The parent dragon lowered its massive head, letting Nathan pass. The medics did not interfere. Nathan felt a surge of pride, not for himself alone, but for humanity's capacity to act when others falter, to shine through empathy, bravery, and intellect. As he stepped toward the exit, the faint signal pulsed again from the distant panel. He paused, gaze drawn to the light. Something awaited him, another challenge, another life that needed protection. He glanced at the hatchling, who chirped softly in response, wings twitching. The bond between them was unbreakable, a partnership forged in survival and trust. Nathan's jaw tightened. "We'll face it together," he whispered. And with that, he stepped into the corridor beyond, carrying the hatchling toward a future full of unknowns. Behind him, the parent dragon watched, silent and imposing, a guardian now allied in understanding. The medics lingered, unsure what to do next. Nathan felt the weight of possibility pressing around him. The universe held secrets, and one human could make a difference. And somewhere beyond the med bay, faint lights pulsed again, signaling that this was far from the end. Another life waited. Another challenge loomed. Nathan tightened his grip on the hatchling, heart steadying with determination. He had saved one life against impossible odds. Soon he would face something far greater. And in that moment, the story of one human's courage, empathy, and intelligence began to reach far beyond a single hatchling, toward a universe brimming with mysteries only humans could dare to confront.